The story of Tesla is not merely that of an electric car company or a household name in the world of clean energy. It is the tale of how vision, determination, and a relentless drive for innovation converge to disrupt and redefine entire industries. This is a journey marked by moments of epic triumph and near disastrous failure, a saga fueled by both the dreams of visionaries and the hard work of thousands of unsung heroes. And in many ways, the story is still being written. To understand Tesla's incredible ascent, we must first look back to the early 2000s. The auto industry had for over a century operated under the dominance of internal combustion engines. Electric car concepts existed, but they were mostly dismissed as impractical, plagued by short ranges, slow speeds, and a stigma of being little more than glorified golf carts. The oil giants reigned supreme, with the world's transportation infrastructure built around gasoline. At the time, electric vehicles were relics of the past, curiosities rather than contenders. Into this environment stepped a small group of Silicon Valley engineers with a radical vision to prove that electric vehicles could not only match, but surpass the performance and desirability of traditional cars. Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, the original founders of Tesla Motors, dreamed of building a sports car that didn't need a drop of gasoline. Their audacious idea captured the attention and eventually the investment of another Silicon Valley maverick, Elon Musk. Musk's early fascination with environmental science and disruptive technology made Tesla a perfect fit. Eager to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy, he became the company's largest investor and chairman of the board. Tesla's first car, the Roadster, was a statement as much as a product. Built on the chassis of a Lotus Elise, it was the first highway-legal electric vehicle to use lithium-ion battery cells, the same kind found in everyday laptops. The Roadster could travel over 200 miles on a single charge, a mind-boggling figure in an era when other EVs couldn't manage even a fraction of that. And with a 0 to 60 time under 4 seconds, it shattered the stereotype of the slow, uninspiring electric car. But innovation rarely comes easy. The Roadster's development was fraught with challenges, supply chain nightmares, skyrocketing costs, and daunting technical problems. Production was delayed, and the future looked uncertain. But what set Tesla apart wasn't just vision, it was grit. The team pushed through sleepless nights and relentless pressure, determined to take the company's radical dream from concept to reality. With the Roadster, Tesla caught the world's attention. Suddenly, the world's auto executives, investors, and climate-minded dreamers were taking notice. Instead of stopping at the niche sports car market, the company steeled itself for a far greater challenge, making mass-market electric vehicles not just viable, but desirable. Thus began the infamous Secret Master Plan, outlined by Elon Musk. First, build a high-priced, low-volume sports car to prove the technology. Second, use the proceeds to fund a more affordable sedan. Third, use those proceeds to make an even more accessible, mass-market car, all while advancing sustainable energy technology. The next leg of Tesla's journey would test even stronger nerves: the development and rollout of the Model S. This full-sized luxury sedan needed to not only rival, but exceed the reigning champions from Germany and Japan. Tesla poured itself into making the Model S a technological marvel. It boasted unparalleled acceleration, a sumptuous interior, a massive touchscreen interface, and most importantly, a driving range that made long-distance road trips plausible in an electric vehicle. Industry analysts were skeptical. Rivals and critics dismissed Tesla as doomed to become another failed startup, overwhelmed by the capital intensity and cutthroat competition of automaking. Yet, when the Model S finally hit the roads in 2012, it redefined expectations. Critics and drivers alike praised the car's performance, and the accolades poured in. It rapidly accumulated industry awards and racked up a loyal fan base. Electric cars, once considered the realm of compromise and sacrifice, had suddenly become aspirational. But even as Tesla captured imaginations, the road ahead was anything but smooth. The company's finances were stretched to the breaking point. Musk himself later described moments where Tesla was a few weeks away from bankruptcy. Yet again, sheer determination and relentless problem-solving propelled the company forward. Tesla expanded its supercharger network, allowing long-distance electric travel, and committed to building its own gigafactories for batteries, a move that many at the time considered absurd, yet has since become a competitive advantage and a model for the entire industry. The launch of the Model X SUV ushered in new challenges, with complex manufacturing hurdles and production delays. But with each setback, Tesla refined its processes and doubled down on innovation. The Model 3, the much-anticipated mass-market sedan, promised to be a watershed moment not just for Tesla, but for the perception and adoption of electric vehicles globally. Demand for the Model 3 was overwhelming, with hundreds of thousands of pre-orders. Fulfilling those orders, however, required overcoming what Musk termed production hell, the immense difficulty of scaling up manufacturing with very tight margins for error. Through it all, one thing remained clear. Tesla was not just making cars. From the very beginning, its mission was to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. That meant venturing beyond vehicles into other arenas: solar energy, home energy storage, and grid-scale batteries. The acquisition of SolarCity, another company in which Musk held a significant stake, tied together Tesla's ambitions of a world powered by sustainable energy generation and storage. Each new Tesla product release was met with both ardent enthusiasm and sharp skepticism. When Tesla announced its semi-truck, critics doubted the ability of batteries to deliver sufficient range for freight transport. When the futuristic Cybertruck roared onto a stage, its angular design and unorthodox features were the talk of the internet. Through it all, Tesla remained undeterred, continuing its push for radical change. Tesla's impact, however, extends far beyond the products it actually sells. Perhaps its greatest achievement has been the shift in mindset it forced upon the entire automotive and energy industries. What was once a fringe ideal, clean electric transportation became not just possible, but inevitable. Legacy automakers, once dismissive, began pivoting towards electric vehicle strategies. Oil companies, recognizing the tides of change, started investing heavily in alternative energies. The conversation around climate change and the power of individual consumer choice accelerated, in no small part due to the electric currents running through Tesla's saga. The financial markets took note as well. At times struggling for survival, Tesla eventually became the most valuable automaker in the world. Its rise was punctuated by extreme volatility, with stock prices mirroring the company's own wild ride of hopes and setbacks. Employees described the atmosphere as both exhilarating and exhausting, a place where impossible deadlines were the norm, but so were breakthroughs that stunned even their fiercest competitors. Tesla's rise is inseparable from that of its enigmatic leader, Elon Musk. At times controversial, always visionary, he pushed his teams with relentless urgency, sometimes at personal and professional cost. Musk's tweets could make or break billions in market value, and his outsized personality made for headlines as dramatic as any Hollywood story. Yet, through all the noise, perhaps the most important aspect remains Musk's and Tesla's insistence that dramatic change is possible, that a tiny company with a wild idea could upend titans, and in doing so, perhaps tilt the future itself. Even as other auto companies rush to catch up, Tesla continues to set the agenda. Autopilot and full self-driving features edge the conversation ever closer to autonomous vehicles. Gigafactories dot the globe, producing not just cars, but the batteries and energy storage solutions that underpin the clean energy transition. With each quarterly update, the company pushes further. Advances in battery technology, reductions in per-mile costs, and bold promises about vehicles that will one day drive themselves. The world that greeted Tesla's founders at the turn of the millennium scarcely resembles the world of today. Now, almost every major car brand is reshaping their lineups to accommodate electric vehicles. Governments are setting ambitious electrification targets. Public perceptions have shifted from skepticism and fear to hope and excitement for what a sustainable, electrified future might hold. Yet Tesla's legacy is about more than cars, batteries, or even clean energy. It's a testament to what happens when vision collides with action, and when enough people agree to try something that everyone else thought was impossible. It's about the triumph of audacity over inertia, of hope over resignation. The incredible story of Tesla is still unfolding, its next scenes unwritten. But from a wild gamble by a band of dreamers to a reshaping of the way the world moves and powers itself, Tesla has already changed everything. It is a story of risk, resilience, and invention. A story that reminds us that the future does not belong to those who wait for it, but to those who are bold enough to build it.